Hey, how's it going? We're here in Facebook headquarters, Building 18. This is where the Oculus team works. And we're going to talk this morning about the new Oculus Rift that we just started shipping this week. So what I want to do is walk over here where the team is, and we're actually going to walk through what the package is and unbox an Oculus Rift, and I'll walk you through everything that's in there. So here's the office. I mean, you can get a chance to just see some of the art that's around here, and people just come, and employees and all kinds of different folks just paint all over the walls. So here, come on, let's go. Let's take a walk this way into the lab. So this is where, up ahead, where the Oculus team works. We have about 400 people working on this now. And hey guys, good morning. How's it going?
All right, how you doing?
Good to see you.
All right.
All right. Over here we have a bunch of different vision labs, which I think is okay. Apparently, I do not have access to go into the vision lab yet. But here is where we do a lot of computer vision work. You can see we have robots for setting up a bunch of this different work. Here, come on, let's keep walking over here. Past a little bit more artwork to where we. So we're going to go hang out with the Oculus founder Brendan Areve and Shrep, who's Facebook CTO, this morning. So come on over here. Hey. Hey. How's it going?
What's up, Mark?
Congrats on shipping.
Hey.
All right. How's it going?
Nice to see you.
Good. All right. So we're going to, this morning, walk through unboxing an Oculus Rift. All right. So this is the package. Brendan, you want to get us started?
Sure.
And tell us a little bit about what we're going to see here, and then we'll go through the pieces.
So this is the Rift, and it has the headset. Inside the headset, we have incredible optimized screens that we've spent a lot of time made for VR OLED screens. We also have optimized optics. We have full 360 tracking, which uses the sensor to do tracking, back of the headset plus the front. And it has a great audio system that gives you 360 audio, which we spent a lot of time on. So overall, lightweight and ergonomic and easy to put on.
So, I mean, one of the most important things to deliver a good virtual reality experience is, you know, if you want to really feel like you're there, the image basically needs to render faster than your brain's kind of image works, right, and your eyes work. So, you know, what we basically know from biology is that your eye's image updates every, what is it? It's like 5
milliseconds.
Yeah, 5 or 10 milliseconds. So that means that, you know, when you're in this thing, where you have to be able to turn your head and then send that signal to the computer, and then update what you should be seeing on the screen, and then send that and compute all that, what the new scene looks like, send that back to the screen and have it render in less than 10 milliseconds. So that requires a lot of new systems work,
software,
and graphics work, but also new special screens that there are only a handful of folks in the world who can make this, and that's why when Brendan says it's made for VR, in order to deliver this kind of a comfortable experience, that's what we're talking about here.
That's right. Yep.
All right. We talked about the audio, how it's, I mean, as you look around, it's not just the scene that's updating, but it's the audio is updating too. So if there's a waterfall going on over there, as you turn your head, you can kind of hear it differently. So
yeah, the positional audio, you want to really hear that the object is exactly where it is in the 360 scene.
Yeah.
So we also have a sensor here. So the sensor you put on your desk. It's really easy. You plug both the headset and the sensor right into the back of your PC. The Rift requires a Windows PC. We have a recommended spec for that delivers a great experience, which is on our website. And it's very easy to just sit on your desk and position facing the headset, and then you get the full positional tracking, what you just talked about. 6 degrees of freedom. You can lean into objects, you can crouch down, you can stand up. It really makes you feel like you're there. You feel fully immersed.
Yes, I mean, this basically picks up invisible LEDs, right?
That's right.
That
Infrared.
That are all around. So I mean, it's 360, and you can look around, and it has to be really quick, right? So that way, as you're moving around, it can pick up the position basically instantaneously. I mean, it takes probably less than a millisecond of the 10 milliseconds that we get to render the scene is taken by the sensor, right? And then sending that back to the computer to render everything so that you get a good, comfortable experience and really feel like you're there. All right, so what else do we have in here?
So we have a remote. This is designed to make it really easy to jump right into VR and get started. You can navigate casual experiences. Again, it's a very simple input device. And we also have a Xbox One controller, one of the best made game pads ever. Microsoft's put a huge investment into this, and it's natural and familiar to gamers, so they can get started right away and play this incredible catalog that we put together of great content.
Yeah. All right. So this isn't live yet, and we haven't shipped this one yet, but we've talked about it. So let's take a look at the touch controller, because this is the next thing that is coming. This hasn't shipped yet, but it's coming a bit later this year. So Brendan just showed the Xbox controller, but one of the neat, awesome things that we're building now is getting not only your vision in VR, but the hands as well. So this kind of works the way that a controller would work. Except in addition, it also is tracked. So you have the sensor, and it can pick up similarly invisible LEDs here. So as you're moving around in VR, you can see your hands, and you can interact, and you can grab things, and I can pick something up and throw it to Shref. Yeah, you can do a fist bump.
Fist bump in VR.
Yeah, you can play ping pong or tennis or.
It's like a natural extension of yourself. It really brings your hands into the game.
Yeah, and one of the things that's awesome about it, it's very ergonomic and comfortable. I mean, you don't have to just be holding and gripping something for an hour if you're using it. I mean, you can kind of just let it go, and it just gives comfortable little loops in your hand. So when you want to squeeze it, you can. If you want to pick something up, if you just want to kind of hang out, you can do that. It's super comfortable. It's a really good experience. So we're looking forward to this coming later this year.
Yeah, we designed it for long-term play.
All right, so. With this launch, even though we're not going to show this right here, there's also a lot of games that are shipping and are ready for launch. We've invested a lot in a lot of the best game studios around the world. So that way now it's 30 games, right, are shipping
over 30.
on day one, though, right?
That's right.
And then probably more than 100 over the course of 2016.
Yep, we have dozens more in development. These are top, real, full games. These aren't tech demos. These are deep, super immersive experiences that you can jump into and get started. There's really never been a launch with this much content that I can remember, and I've been gaming for a long time. So
what are the games that you're most excited about?
So The Climb is one of the really exciting new games that's coming out, which allows you to feel like you're actually on a cliff, and you really feel like you're one hand over another climbing up the side of a cliff. And I'm very scared of heights, and so to be able to do that in VR is an experience that I wouldn't have physically because I wouldn't climb up a cliff.
Yeah.
That's a great experience. There's Eve Valkyrie, which is a space fighting combat where you get to sit in a combat and explore space and go out and fly this ship, and it's just a super immersive, really fun experience.
Yeah.
We're also bundling Lucky's Tale, which is a platformer.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, Lucky's Tale is a lot
I'm
of
a
fun.
Mario guy, so I mean, so Lucky's Tale is pretty similar, and is for people who are used to playing that kind of a game. I mean, it's a great experience in VR. What about you? What's your?
I think I like Farlands the best. I spent a lot of time playing that yesterday, and you really get a chance to feel like you're teleported to a new planet, and face to face with an alien, something that looks like a giant chicken or looks like a classic alien you'd see, and that sense of, whoa, this thing's right in front of me and reacting to me, and I could feed it fruit. It's just this really amazing experience you can't get any other place.
Yeah. So, I mean, gaming is going to be by far the biggest source of content for the first year or two with Rift. The other big use case, of course, is video, right? And we've already talked about how there's more than 1 million hours of video have been watched in VR in products that we've built with Oculus so far, right? And that's
almost 2 million.
Almost 2 million now. All right, well, I don't know that yet. So I guess here we go. So this is a big area of investment for us is promoting and helping to build this whole ecosystem of game developers building VR content and video producers and building all the cameras and things that you need to create really great 360 content around that. So what are you most excited about coming next?
Well, definitely touch. I mean, touch coming next for the platform is going to be amazing. It's going to bring your hands into the game. We've heard just a huge amount of enthusiasm from the community. Everybody's saying that it's the best way to bring your hands in. It's the best set of motion controllers for VR. We spent a lot of time investing in it, and they're going to ship later this year, so we're super excited about that.
Awesome. All right, so we should take some questions, I think. This is a live, so... So what are you guys asking on the thread?
First question is Callie from Malaysia. I would really like to get one for my birthday. Is it on sale now, and where can I get one?
So it's on Oculus.com. You can also get it bundled with a PC on Best Buy.
And then second question.
Yep, Best Buy, Amazon, and Microsoft all have the bundles with the Rift and an Oculus Ready PC online right now.
Awesome.
Gabriel from Romania. How do you deal with the amazing and huge AI behind this technology?
Well, it's a big computer vision challenge, right? I mean, when we were walking in before, I stopped by the Vision Lab, where I couldn't get in. Apparently, as the CEO of this whole company, I do not have access to enter our Vision Lab. So I'll have to sort that one out afterwards. But, it's a big part of doing VR is doing tracking, right? So you're wearing this thing, and extremely quickly in a scene, what you see in the world is dependent on where your head is and the angle that it's at, right? So if I turn my head this way, the scene changes. If I take a step forward, the angle changes. And we need to be able to identify where you are and what angle you're looking at instantaneously, so that way within 5 or 10 milliseconds we can re-render exactly naturally what you'd see if you were in the real world with a computer. And that's just a really big computer vision and graphics problem. And it hadn't really been solved until recently. And this is one of the big advances that the Oculus team had. And just to put this in perspective, to be able to do this in 5 or 10 milliseconds, when we got started working on this problem, you told me the story about Carmack early on. When he started optimizing the loop, the amount of time between just when you're using a computer and you hit the keyboard, you made a keystroke, and then the letter that you typed showed up on the screen, was almost 100 milliseconds, right? I think it was like 80 or 90 milliseconds.
Tons of latency.
So, and that's not a complex graphical thing, right? That's just you press the K key or whatever, and it shows up on the screen, and that took 80 milliseconds, right? There was no internet, nothing had to travel across, a cable from the U.S. to Europe or anything like that. It was just going from your keyboard to the screen, 80 milliseconds. So to be able to make it so that we've optimized this now, so that way this, which isn't connected to the sensor, basically it can pick up your location in space in less than a millisecond, send that back, render this whole 3D scene of what's going on, whether you're in space fighting aliens or watching a 360 video, you're in a movie, or you're looking at and what's going on, but you need to see it at the right angle, and then to be able to compute that and then send it back and have the hardware render it in 5 or 10 milliseconds is a pretty crazy technical feat, right? And that's
took a lot of work. It took a lot of work on the team, the SDK team, optimizing that. We had to work with Microsoft, NVIDIA, AMD to optimize their hardware drivers, to optimize Windows. Windows had all this buffering in it, and monitors had buffering, which is causing that latency when you just hit the keyboard.
Yeah.
We had to get rid of all the buffering. There's no buffering. This is direct from your movement direct to the screen.
And a lot of this stuff, though, we've made open, right? I mean, so we took a lot of this code and made it open source because we want to help good VR get out in the world, right? So, I mean, a lot of that stuff at this point, it was part of the earlier development kits, and a lot of folks can use that to make other VR solutions great as well, because the main thing that we're focused on is just getting really good VR out to the world.
That's right. We fully open sourced the original first developer kit.
Yeah. All right. More questions.
Mar-Louise from South Africa. What's the difference between the Gear VR headset powered by Oculus, which I received with my Samsung Galaxy S7, and the Oculus Rift?
They're the two products that we've been working on, right? So one is this partnership with Samsung that works with their phones. You can basically take a Samsung Galaxy phone or a Note phone, and you can drop it into this device that they have. So instead of having to use a computer, it just uses the Samsung phone and is powered off of that. So it's a lot more affordable, right? Because you already have the phone, so you only need to buy the device that you put the phone in. It's $100 or $99, which is just a lot more affordable and as kind of an entry level VR product. Samsung is giving them away with
S7 pre-orders.
Awesome. Yeah. So that's just kind of a huge thing for getting virtual reality out in the
Huge.
world.
Yeah.
And it's a really high quality experience. So we're really proud of the work that we've done on that. Rift is the second product, and that is really the highest end version of virtual reality that exists anywhere in the world today. It gets powered by a more powerful computer, right? So you need a good computer to run it. But if you have that, and if you're willing to pay a little bit more for the best experience, then this is just a dedicated virtual reality system that is just the top of the line. I mean, no one is shipping anything better than us.
Gives you a faster refresh. It's running at 90 frames per second instead of 60 on the Gear. It gives you positional tracking, so you can fully look on, you can lean down into things, and pretty soon it's going to have touch, which gives you position-tracked motion controllers as well. So it is a fully immersive, more immersive experience, but it comes at a more premium product and cost.
Yeah. So we're excited about both. I mean, we want to be able to deliver a virtual reality experience to everyone in the world. So in order to do that, we need the affordable product, and that's what we've partnered with Samsung to build so far. It's a really high quality product that everyone should be able to get their hands on. And then if you're interested in getting the very best experience, then Rift is really what you want to go for.
That's right. Two big categories, mobile VR and PC VR.
Yeah. All right, a couple more questions.
A lot of people are asking, how do you see VR becoming more social?
All right, well, this is Shrek still. So.
Well, it will over time, and we're already seeing some great apps on Gear VR. There's Oculus Social and a number of third-party developers who built some great experiences that allow you to interact with other real people in VR. And as we see the technology develop, particularly the hardware, the Rift, for example, has an integrated microphone that's really high quality, integrated headphones. So if you want to be talking to someone else over VR, it's a really, really great experience. So, but it's very early days in how we're developing VR, and as more people get VR headsets and the software progresses, I think you'll see a lot more of these amazing experiences with another real person in VR who may be next to you or maybe hundreds of miles away.
I think it's a pretty amazing experience because the whole point of virtual reality, what makes it different, is that you feel like you're there, right? I mean, when we're talking about this, we talk about this concept of presence, right?
Right.
And the thing that's different about virtual reality from every other computing platform before is when you're using a computer or a phone, for example, you might be playing a game, right? And you're really trying to convince yourself that you're there, right? So maybe you're playing, I mean, I really like the game Civilization, for example, right? So you convince yourself that you're actually there in like the city and in the civilization. Or if you're playing some game, a first-person shooter, you convince yourself that you're in that scene. But what virtual reality does is because it operates at this just very fundamental psychological level, right? It's refreshing the whole scene at the speed that your eyes can. It has 360 audio, so the things sound as you're turning around through the world the way that they would naturally. You'll be able to have your hands and they'll move around. You can control things naturally. It actually works the other way from normal computing, which is that instead of trying to convince yourself that you're there, you find yourself trying to convince yourself that you're not actually there and trying to convince yourself that it's not a real thing, which is kind of this trippy experience. But when we do our jobs well, you really feel like you're there. So it gives you this ability to create social experiences that are completely different from anything that you have with computers today, right? You can be across the world from someone or across town, but really feel like you're present and physically there with someone, and that's just a new kind of thing that almost no one has felt in the world today. So that's going to enable a lot of really novel experiences, sharing new kinds of things that wouldn't be possible to do. Really excited about that.
Absolutely.
So Shrep is, we're building a lot of different teams to work on different social VR experiences, and that's just a big effort because we're Facebook. I mean, we're the company in the world that builds the best social experiences for you to share with all the people that you want in all these different ways. So, of course, we're going to really focus on making sure that that we're pushing the envelope on what you can do socially in VR as well.
Yeah, the way I like to think about it is we've been doing a lot of experiments, and we have many distinct memories from the experience you've had in social VR, which is really unique if you think about it. If you think about a really memorable experience you've had in a game, you may be having fun playing it, but 3 or 6 months later, that experience kind of fades away. And I think when you have an experience with a person in the real world, it's this really memorable, emotional moment. And we've seen these experiences in VR where something funny happened you didn't expect with someone else in the room. And I can remember all of those experiences in VR today. And that's the thing I think we're really excited to bring to you soon.
It feels like a physical memory, like you're there in physical space.
Yeah, it's hard to
and not on a screen.
It's really fun.
Yeah, it is
Really
incredible.
fun.
All right. I think one more question, and then we should wrap up and actually go do some work.
Yeah.
Last question is, so guys, what's next for Facebook and VR?
Well, besides touch, which is probably the next big thing, is making it so that you get your hands in it as well.
Really fostering the ecosystem. There's just this incredibly exploding ecosystem around VR of thousands, now tens of thousands, soon to be hundreds of thousands of companies that are getting started to create content and virtual experiences. And going out and supporting them is what we're really focused on now.
Awesome. I agree. I think that's, we're really at the beginning of the ecosystem.
Very beginning.
And I do think that with all the excitement around virtual reality, sometimes people lose track of, this is going to be a long-term thing. We're very focused on this for the long term. Facebook has invested billions of dollars into this. We will continue investing a lot. If you think about mobile phones, the current major computing platform, it took at least 10 years from the launch of the first smartphone, right, in 2003, the BlackBerry and the Palm Trio, to get to when there were 1 billion smartphones in the world, and that was really the main computing platform that people built for. And we think that it's going to be a similar trajectory for virtual reality as well, where there are going to be awesome use cases in the beginning. If you're really into gaming and you want this kind of immersive experience, if you're really into pushing the envelope on how you can create videos, then there's some awesome things that you can do up front. And we think that a lot of people are really going to enjoy these initial products. But over the years, more and more things are going to come. There are going to be more different types of apps that you can use, and it's going to be a long journey to get to this ubiquitous computing platform that we're talking about. But we're excited about getting there. But on that note, we have a lot of work to do.
Yep, let's go do it.
So we should probably actually wrap up now and go do work. If you want to get a Rift, you can go online to oculus.com and order them. We started shipping them this week. There's a little bit of a backlog, so it might take a little while for you to get yours, but we're excited to get them in more people's hands soon. So congrats to the team. This is a really big milestone towards the future of computing.
Huge team effort between Oculus and Facebook.
Awesome.